Hi guys, this is Ulebu, and I'm here to give you guys another testimony, but this time it's about God's provision, basically. I'm so excited to share this because I was not sure what was happening. You know, when you're in that zone and you don't know what's happening. I wanted to share this weeks back actually, but I couldn't because I was just trying to wrap my head around exactly what just happened. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you guys a backstory. So I worked for a good portion of my life in a certain industry that I was not really fond of, basically. I think I did it because of the money, and yeah, the money was good, but I was not happy. The pressure was too much, and also the fact that I didn't like the industry just made things worse. I think if it was an industry that I loved and there was still that same pressure, I would have literally given 110% because I was doing what I love. But then with this one, I was not doing what I love. So, okay, fast forward. 6 years later, I've gained this experience in this field. I even have the papers to show for it. But deep down in my heart, I wanted to do operations and logistics, right? And I knew that, oh Lord, and me going to that industry at this age, going in this is now me having no experience, trying to get into that industry. It is so difficult. It is so difficult. And also my age and the fact that I have a different work experience for something else just made it worse. Anyway, so I sat down with God. I'm like, I'm not going back to my previous job. I resigned. I spoke to my husband as well. We agreed because it was literally taking a mental toll on me. Like, I felt like I was going to go into a depressive state if I didn't already go into one. I just checked out in life, literally, basically, at that point. I checked out. All right. I know some of you are going to say I was ungrateful, but I mean, for working, I was getting a good salary, but I was just like, this is not me. This is not me. All right. So I resigned, and now I'm sitting in a space where I don't have a job. We currently moved to a new province. It is expensive. I'm responsible for. I'm still a parent. I need to make sure I have my child eats and so on. It was hard for us financially. It was it was hard, which was not a problem. We always we had our own problems already, and then now the financial problems became also an issue, which added to the problems that we currently had in the home. Oh my God, it was the most hardest part about leaving my job. Like the financial impact it took on us was a lot. It was a lot to a point where I didn't think we would recover. Like that was how hard it hit. Okay. So eventually I sat with God and I was like, God, like I'm literally dependent on you. I think the biggest thing for me ever since I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in my life is that I have been so accepting of my situation. I've been so content. I've been like, God, you know what? I'm not going to go anywhere else until you bless me, literally. And even with that blessing, I was not. No. Sometimes you go over the top. Hey, I want a Lamborghini. Not to say it's anything wrong. It's just that I was just aiming too high at some point because I was like, okay, how am I expecting that to happen? But then I'm not saying that the Lord would not do that for me. I believe He will. But at the back of my head, I knew that I was kind of like pushing it because how am I gonna pour petrol in the car? Anyway, fine. Okay, so I started. Well, I've been applying like maybe 50 posts a day, LinkedIn, Indeed, Pnet, Career 24. I was so busy. I was applying for operations jobs. I was applying for like everything I could do, right? Just not what I used to do. Anything but that. So I was like, okay. And eventually one day, I was sitting at home. A call comes in. It's like, hey, you're scheduled for an interview. And I'm like, what interview? So on that, I thought it was a scam. Can I not lie? I thought it was a scam. I was like, what interview? Like, which job is this? Because, and then they sent me like what do you call? Like a script to show me which job this is that I applied for. But then with this job, there was never a set specific tasks that I was supposed to do, like, or that but they only needed my experience. The same previous experience that they needed my experience for that. But I didn't know what this job entailed, basically. So I did the interview. It was an online interview. I did the interview. When I did the interview, I was like, I don't get what's happening here. I was a bit confused and I was like, Lord, what is this? Like, this looks like a scam. Like, literally, when did I even apply for this job? Like, I'm trying to backtrack and check when I applied for this job. Okay. So I realized, man, I don't remember where I applied for this job. I'm trying to check all my sites, trying to check the company to verify the agency. I was just doing my bit of research. And at some point, they called, I think 2 days later, to say, hey, we need to do another interview. But then this interview, you're going to be with a client. You're going to talk to the client. And I'm like, oh, which company is this? Like, they haven't told me because, okay, they're an agency and they tried to see if I qualified for the job, I guess. And so they did their first interview, and now the second interview was with the client. And they gave me like this brief, you know how they give you that brief where you like prepare for the interview and stuff like that. And then you get to see the position that you're really applying for and whatnot. Okay. So I was like, okay, God, what is this? This is new to me. Like, I was just sitting here like, you know, when you don't believe stuff, you don't believe stuff. Like, I was sitting there like, Yazin, yo. So anyway, I mean, what would hurt to go to an interview anyway? Like, I was just so picky with my jobs at that time. Even though I didn't have a job, I was just so picky. I didn't want anything to do with my previous job's experience. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. All right. So eventually I do an interview with the client and I realized, okay, this is a reputable company. I was so excited. After that interview, actually, that was when I was like, I could do this. But then it was a job interview for 2 positions. So there were 2 positions. And they had to decide based on my experience and based on what the owner would want if I would qualify for either. So the owner had to choose which one I was, like, he or she wanted me in, right? Fine. So, eventually then they were like, okay, we're gonna do one last interview. So I think about 3 interviews that I did. One last interview. We would like you to prepare this and this. So they showed me the scripts. This is what the client is specifically looking for, and okay, fine. So I do my interview. So this is an overseas company, right? So I do an interview online and I'm just like, okay. I do the interview. I felt like I was good. Like, I was good, but I was very nervous, but I was very good. And they were like, okay, we'll call you back. This was on Friday. By Monday, you would know if the client is happy with you and whatever. Like, basically, we would see what will happen. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then I think I did the interview in the morning around 11. I think it was around 11. And then that same day around 4, because I remember I was supposed to go fetch my husband around 4. I get an email. When I look at the email, like, hey, we hope you're good. The client is so happy with your interview that the 2 roles that were supposed to be for 2 people is now going to be integrated to be 1, and you are going to do that because they feel that you are that good. Yeah, guys, I was excited. Was I not? Now, the funny thing is, I thought at the back of my mind, I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to have this huge sum of money. But the industry that I came from had a lot of ching. So I was like, maybe this money is going to be up. I mean, it's 2 roles coming together. I was very excited. I knew I was going to work from home full time because, I mean, we don't have a company in South Africa, but it obviously isn't in the UK. So I got to work from home as a privilege. While people were crying about petrol, I was like, well, I don't know what you guys mean. Like, I was so excited. Okay, so now the thing is, they don't show your salary on when you're busy with the interviews, they didn't show the salary. I don't know if I didn't ask, I don't know, but they didn't show the salary. So I was already had it in my mind. I was like, oh, what kind of salary do I want? If they say you must negotiate, I was already preparing. I was already preparing how much I wanted and stuff like that. So I wrote down a budget. I did a budget. I woke up in the middle of the night to do a budget. I was literally on that budget, literally word for word. I was like, I need to save this much. I need to do this. This is how much is going to go to this. And so basically, and my budget came to a certain amount, and I was like, yeah, let's see if this job is going to meet that. And I know God, I was busy there. I was just busy because people were also telling me, hey, you must write down your salary, you must claim it, you must pray, you must claim things into existence. Hey, I was busy because my friends praying, they were busy. Anyway, okay. So eventually we got to talk about the salary expectations, right? And because there's an online job and fine, and then they offered me a salary, and I was like, no, this is not, no. But I don't forget, at the back of my mind, I had an expectation of what I wanted, right? But then at the same time, I had to be realistic to the fact that I'm basically working from home, so there are certain amounts or certain costs that I will not be eligible for, right? Fine. So I sat there, looked at, I told them to give me some time to look through the contract to see if whatever's happening. So it was a junior role. So it wasn't a senior. So it was a junior role. So even that was like, so the salary I wanted was for a senior role, right? But then because the position was a junior role, I had to like, okay. So I sat down, looked at my math, did my calculations, and then I finally decided that this is the offer I was going to take to them. I prayed to God about it. I was not happy, I don't want to lie, because I was expecting, a very fat salary. So I took the salary to them, and I was like, okay, guys, this is what I'm not going down from this and stuff. Funny enough, they were like, okay, great. And I was like, okay. And for the first time in my entire life, that was not the ideal salary that I got or wanted, but it was the first salary I got to negotiate. And on top of that, I was very happy with the work environment, which is, oh my God, I don't know. Guys, if you guys have worked in a toxic place before and you get to a good place, like where you're treated good, where your opinion matters, where like you are valued, like you are literally valued, I promise you, I promise you, it's like you'd settle for as little as like basic. You'd settle for a basic salary at that point because your mental health is just put on a pedestal. Like they make sure that you're okay. They make sure that you're taken care of. Like I was just so excited. Anyway, so finally I signed the contract. We work out the paperwork and stuff like that. I was so happy because I was sitting at home not getting a salary. Now there was something that was going to come in, right? Mind you, and I was like, oh, there's load shedding in South Africa. How am I gonna work around that? Because I don't have an inverter. My computer, my laptop was slow. There was just a lot going on. And I was like, oh my God, if you want me to work this job, you gave me this job, Lord. And I don't know where I'm going to get the solutions for an inverter. I don't know where I'm going to get a solution for load shedding because the whole country is experiencing this thing. How am I going to get a solution? Basically, I don't have the money. My husband is not going to be able to pay this off before the time I start my job. So, and we are currently at a stage in the electricity grid that it switches off every 4 hours, literally. So I sat there and the company called me. No, the client has pushed back the start date, which was very good for me because the load shedding at the time was just out of place. The client has pushed back the start date, and I was like, okay, no problem. So it was going to be during the month instead of the beginning of the month. So I had to start then. So I started before I started that week. So I hadn't said anything to my husband. Guys, please note this. This is the part where it just goes where I was just like, what? So I never said anything to my husband about needing an inverter. Well, that's because I was still trying to get a solution for myself first, and then let him know if I fail. I'd be like, I tried this and this and this and that, and I don't think it worked, so I need your help. So basically, all the time, I'm just like, I always try to be independent and get these things going. By the time I involve him, it's already done, or it's it needs his help in a sort of way. So I never said anything to my husband about an inverter or anything like that. So this day, I think it was a Monday. So I said to my husband, the laptop that I'm going to use for work is pretty much slow. And I know we don't have money to buy a new one right now. So I was hoping that we get like an external drive or something like that. So I took it to a shop to have them look at it to see everything, how much everything is going to cost. So the guy was like, no, it's going to cost you about 800 rand. And at the time I was like, oh, okay, no, I can do 800 rand. I'll speak to my husband and I'll bring back the laptop if officially. So I call my husband. I'm like, the laptop is going to cost this much to use, da 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 da. And my husband was like, oh no, don't worry about that, I'll sort it out. I'll take it somewhere. I have a person who can fix this for us for free. And at the time I was like, okay, hey, I know my husband and trying to save money. I'm thinking, why is he trying to save money? The girl needs. I was already irritated. Mind you guys, I'm very impatient. So I was already irritated by the fact that his solution seems to be dodgy. The fact that he doesn't have money seems to be dodgy. Anyway, so he says to me, so he takes the laptop in the morning. He's like, I'll bring it back, but I need some time and I have to give it to someone so they fix it. I'm like, okay, no problem. So they take the laptop because I was starting the next week Monday. So now this is a Tuesday where he takes the laptop. So he takes the laptop, he goes and fixes it, and blah, 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 blah. So the laptop only comes back on Friday. This whole time, I'm saying nothing about an inverter. I'm saying nothing about backup system. I'm literally saying nothing. Dololo, nothing at all. So as I'm trying to think, I'm busy calling my mom. Hey, I'm trying to find a solution. The solution is expensive. I mean, I already know my household's finances, and I know that, hey, that solution is gonna take us maybe a month or two to get put together. On top of the fact that the laptop, because I was like, at the beginning I was like, hey, that laptop is going to give me problem. Because I know my husband is dodgy like that. He tries to save money so much. Oh, guys, God forbid. Sometimes we are just... Anyway. So, my mom says to me, no, man, like, you work with what you have. Like, ask God. Like, what should you do? And I promise you, I was like, God, I don't know what to do. If I lose this job, I mean, it's on you. I literally said that. I was like, you gave me this job, and if I lose this job because of load shedding, honestly, I'm not going to do this. I really want to do this. Would you help me? That's what I said. Okay. So that evening, it was a Wednesday evening. Yeah, it was a Wednesday evening. No, I'm lying. It was a Friday because I knew the laptop was back. And lo and behold, the laptop was fast. Yay! The person who touched that laptop was a child of God. I'm telling you, it worked perfectly. I use it. It's fast speed. It's a generally slow laptop, but I don't know what they did. But now it literally works. I guess the 800 rand that I would have paid would have done the same thing. But then this time around, it was for free. A good Samaritan was like, no, you'll do this for my husband. It's fine. I know it's fine. I don't need money from you. And stuff like that. Okay, so eventually then, so okay, so I start working. Okay, so I start working. It was a Monday. Now on that Monday, there was no load shedding. Mind you, I still don't have a backup system in the home. I haven't said anything. I'm still quiet. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm waiting on God, literally, because my attitude towards the whole situation was like, God, you gave me this job. You're going to see what's going to happen. I'm not going to waste my time on that. All right, so there was no load shedding there was load shedding on that entire week, but not during the working hours I got to work, right? So I was calm and excited about that at least God is making provision even with the load shedding. Now I'm not having to worry about not doing my work, Because I was like, Lord, if you don't fix the load shedding, up until I get myself a backup system, then you need to change the load shedding schedule. I kid you not. On that Sunday, before the Monday I started working, the country went to a stage 2, which meant that I only had load shedding at 6 o'clock. And I got to work 4 hours a day. And that 4 hours was only in the morning. I was so excited. Guys, I'm telling you about God's provision. He will move things around for you. Right? Okay. So eventually I decided to talk to my husband, because at this point I'm desperate. I'm like, okay, let me talk to my husband. I've tried to solve this. It's not going to work. I don't have the finances for this. I know you don't have the finances, but let me burden him anyway with this, right? So I said with him, I'm like, hey, you know what, baby? I have a problem. And he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, hey, the whole of last week I've been trying to solve this problem. I don't know how to solve it and stuff like that. And he says, what is it? And I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, we need a backup system. I'm working from home. If I'm getting paid by the hour, literally. So if I don't work from home, if I don't work by hours, I won't get paid. And this money is going to help us a lot in the house, basically stating my case to my husband. And he looks at me and he says, what is it that you want? And I said, I need an inverter. And he says, oh yeah, I ordered that. I'm like, when did you order that? He's like, yeah, I ordered that like a week or 2 ago. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. I'm like, for what? How did you know I needed it? He was like, no, I didn't think you needed one. I just thought the house needed an inverter. That's all. So I decided to order one. I'm like, you ordered? I thought he was lying. Guys, why do I think my husband is dodgy? God was using my husband to bring a solution to a problem that I tried to fix on myself. Yet my husband was sitting with the solution this whole time. 2 weeks. Even way before I went for my last interview, he already ordered this, literally. And I was sitting there, I was like, do you know what an inverter is? And I started Googling. I'm like, this is what an inverter is, dude. And he's like, yeah, I know what an inverter is. I felt so dumb. So I didn't believe him. God knows. I did not believe him. I felt like he was just, when someone gives you a solution right now that you didn't expect right now. You were expecting it to happen over a period of time. He gave it to me at that point. And I sat there and I was like, I remember crying, and I was calling another lady that I pray with, and I was like, oh my God, my husband, God used my husband as a solution to a problem that I didn't think I needed my husband, because I'm so independent. It's so difficult sometimes to let other people help when you are so used to doing things by yourself. So I was laughing and she was laughing. We were just laughing at the situation. If you can't let God help you, like, what is this? What is this? So eventually, I think about 2 days later, in the same week where the load shedding was not happening, right? In the same week, so she calls. My husband comes home. He has this thing, brand new. Guess what? He didn't even pay a cent for it. Zero. Guys, that's a story for another day. I was so excited. I was jumping around. Yo, guys, I'm telling you, I was jumping around. I was so happy. I was just like, you know what? My husband is the best. And he was like, yeah. And you didn't believe me. I was so excited. I never saw God in that way before, ever. And I was so grateful that he used my husband, because during that time where I'm frustrated, me and him were having a rough patch. We were I was a bit shady towards him. I was like, I had unemployment issues, guys. I was just angry at everything and everyone. So when God used my husband to do this gesture for me, I honestly believe that there was another level of love that was just unpeeled, and I was so excited, and I looked at him in a different way. I felt differently, literally, about my husband. For that day, I was like, boy. It was so funny. But I thank God for that provision, guys. God gave me a job. Basically, in summary, God gave me a job. He provided for everything that I needed for that job. I'm happy with that job. I'm so content. I'm so grateful. Guys, I'm so grateful. Yeah, the salary is not what I expected. I am so grateful. I get in work early. I leave work a bit later. Not because I'm forced. No one is. You need to literally need to be offline by the time. Otherwise, you're not paid the extra minutes or the hours that you work. But because I'm so happy and because I'm genuinely doing what I love, logistics and operations. It's what I love. And the Lord just made provision. I'm so happy. I work from home. I'm so content, guys. I don't know how to explain it. I am so content. It's like every time I feel like screaming, I'm just like, God, what is this? What kind of love is this that you're showing me? Like, it's a lot. Like, yo, guys, I have the best manager or boss at this point. Oh, guys, I'm working in an environment I only dreamed of. I'm literally working in an environment where I only dreamed of. I'm not even micromanaged. Like, you're given free reign. They just want their work at a given time, and you need to provide. And at that, I promise you, I do my best. I do my best. So by the time I knock off, everyone else is still at work, which is still so. So I'll call those and I'm like, I'm knocking off now, guys. Are we meeting? I'm still able to take care of the home. I can still be a mom. Like, guys, I can literally still be a mom. I tend to my family's needs. I tend to everything else that needs my attention in this home without feeling like I'm spending so much time at work. I wake up in the morning, I do my work that I'm paid for, which is also amazing. I'm learning so much about the industry that I eventually studied at school. It's so nice, guys. I didn't realize it was so nice. It's so nice. I'm so happy. God has been so faithful. He's provided for my immediate needs that even I thought, like, I didn't think that God moved in that way. I don't want to lie. I think with my journey, I always thought things had to happen over time, you know? And when things happened instantly, and at that point, I am just so grateful for God's provision in my life. Yeah, I think that was it. I'm so happy to share this testimony with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm living in that answered prayer, guys. I'm living in it. It comes with so much peace. I think I would never give this up for anything at this point. At this point, this peace that I'm experiencing, I don't think I want to give it up just yet. I don't. And I've realized that if you involve God in anything that you do, He will come through. Literally, He will come through. So I thank God for that. I thank Him for this testimony that even I one day will look back when things get tough or when I try to handle things on my own. I will look back on this testimony and realize that God has always had it. I don't have to help Him. The only thing I am sitting here doing all the time, all day, every time I knock off, I'm just like, thank you so much. It's like I'm living, like I sometimes pinch myself. I'm like, what is this? Guys, this is my short story. I'm happy. I hope you guys get some encouragement from the story, and may God bless you. Bye.